I'm starting the stream. So, hello everyone who is watching like the stream at the moment. We are here with Henrik Rosenborg. He is on the right side, so you can see him. And before we proceed with pretty much anything that he is doing, I will show you just the small image presentation of the works I combined from his art station. And it was really easy to combine all of this because there were like a lot of different works to choose from, so you will get a little bit more familiar with his works. And you can see that he really knows what he is doing and that he can paint and he can draw. And later he will also show us his older works, so you will also see that it was kind of funny at the beginning, but at the moment it's like a really top level, I would say. And with his works I'm familiar for like a past year or two or something like this, so I have been following him for quite a long time. I really like his style, the way he's painting, the natural feel to it, and the like a really distinctive type of style of doing pretty much everything in terms of art. But I guess we will see how he is painting and we will ask him some questions and everything. So here is the stream, and all the links to his works you can see in the description down below. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will try to answer everything, or if you we will try to answer pretty much everything. And yeah, so here is him painting and doing everything, so you can introduce yourself now.
Right. So my name is Henrik, and I'm I guess freelance illustrator. Fantasy freelance illustrator is mainly what I'm doing, and that's my full-time job. And I work with various Pathfinder. I've worked on what's it called, Warhammer Fantasy RPG. I've worked on for Capcom, and several different companies really. But as long as there's a fantasy element in it, I'm usually interested. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Or is there anything else you'd...
So I guess like a really typical type of question, just to start everything. What is your background? How you started doing it? Like pretty much what happened that you are doing art?
Like why? Yeah, why I started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, why I started. I mean, I have a bunch of people in my family that are pretty good at drawing, actually, but they've never really, aspired to do it full time or professionally in any way. But so I guess I have some of that naturally from my youth. But actually, I wasn't really interested in doing anything when I was about, well, maybe I was like 22 or something, and I was playing World of Warcraft in my parents' basement, and I was like, is this really all I should be doing in my life? And so I sort of ransacked myself and figured I got to do something more than this. So I started thinking about what am I good at, and I was like, I'm decent at drawing. Okay, let's do that. And then I just started drawing so much all the time. I went to 1 year in art school first, where I sort of learned the fundamentals properly, and then I went to a 3-year program at the university with game design and computer graphics, and I was working all the time. Like I didn't have any buddies in the beginning or anything, because I was just drawing and painting all the time on my own. And I mean, I pretty much kept that up. Of course, I made friends, but I just kept up that, the long ass days every day. And then I actually started getting my freelance gig halfway through the last year of university.
So like your first gig was after how many years of drawing or painting?
Ooh, so let's see now. Maybe 5. I don't remember exactly. It was something like that.
And what was
5
it?
years maybe. That was actually to do like promotional art for Razer. They make keyboards and mice and headsets and stuff. Yeah, I met them at because I was going with my school to sort of promote it. So we went to these conventions, and I would paint live there to sort of draw people to our booth. And this guy came up behind me. He was sort of just standing there, and I was in a kind of lousy mood actually because I hadn't eaten much, I hadn't slept
Ah,
much. So I was like, I was starting to get annoyed, and but yeah, so I was kind of rude to him actually. But he stood his ground. He was still there, and I was like, "So, what do you work with?" He's like, "Well, I work as a creative director at Racer." I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." you Um, but yeah, then we sort of stayed in touch, and I started that gig, but I never finished it because I was too inexperienced, really. Like I didn't know how to treat a gig like that.
yeah, to be
Because
honest, for a first gig to get like a company like Razer, it must be really hard.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I was just sitting at home chilling, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do a meeting on Wednesday or whatever." And so, and when it was time for the meeting, they threw me in with all the creative leads in Asia,
Hmm.
and I didn't have anything prepared, and I didn't know anything. So I was like, "Yeah, well, let me get back to you because I have no idea what's going on, pretty much."
Nice.
So yeah, that was crazy, man. But that was my first
So they
gig.
pretty much wanted you to paint something or to make what?
Yeah, paint stuff,
Nice.
like posters
Ah.
to promote different gaming products.
Hmm. Yeah, because usually when
And
I hear someone talking about their first commission, it was like someone wanting a tattoo design or someone wanting their character for D&D, a private commission or something like this. And I guess I never
yeah,
heard about anyone who pretty much started with like a big company. So
I mean, people shouldn't be starting with a
I
big company.
guess,
It's a
yeah,
really
I
bad
I guess it
idea.
might be a problem to a degree,
Yeah,
especially if you have like
yeah.
no idea how everything works and everything. But,
No, I mean, definitely, I had no
hmm,
idea. Like, how do you, I was so keen on
hmm,
rendering and stuff as well that I couldn't. It was really hard for me to just do like, here's some simple composition sketches. Like, I couldn't do
hmm.
that. I just started rendering, and you know,
And
just took too
and
much
then there
time.
was this magical question. So how much for your work? And then you don't know what to tell.
No, I definitely undercharged,
Yeah, pretty much
and they were
everybody
super
is
happy. Yeah,
at the moment.
it's
So
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for your university and everything, because you said you were studying like graphic design, right? Game
Game
design.
design
Okay.
and computer graphics. So I studied. Yeah, we made games and we learned about concept art and
So it's one of
stuff
the
like that.
things that was always quite interesting to me because when I usually hear about game design type of studies, I they
Hmm.
are usually mostly focused on actually designing a game like from a gameplay type of point of view instead of
Yeah,
like actually concept art and everything. So all the 3D modeling and everything is pretty much additional to it. So this game
yeah.
design is pretty much like has nothing to do with art. So
No, I realized that the first lecture,
that it's nothing to do with
the
art.
first, yep, the first day in school, I sat there and I was like, because I had to like get my grades up
Uh-huh.
first before all that. So I spent 2 years fixing my grades, and then I applied to the school, and then I sat there the first
Hmm.
day, and they were like, "This is game design." I was like, "Fuck, okay, that sucks." So then you know, I just spent all my free time basically on drawing because what I knew, like, okay, now I have 3 years where I don't have to work. I just sort of have to focus on being
Hmm.
creative. Um, so yeah, I just spent all my free time on painting.
Hmm.
But we did some 3D and stuff as
Yeah,
well.
because a friend of mine was also studying this type of thing, and when he was like sending me all of these things, I was like, wow, it's so extremely random. Like, I have no idea what you are studying actually. And it was pretty
Yeah,
much everything. Like, he was unwrapping some 3D models and he was doing something. And depends on the country, but I guess I don't think even we have in Poland something like the official like game design type of studies, but usually it's like a math and programming and everything, this type of things combined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I didn't have any of that though, fortunately,
Yeah, because
because that would have been
then it would be
disaster.
disappointing to like a whole another degree.
Then I would probably never have
Yeah.
finished that
I
education.
wanted to draw
That's for
monsters
sure.
and now I am hunting monsters.
Yeah, yeah, it was so
Mm.
disappointing the first day, man. But yeah, I mean, it worked out. It was fun. I actually trained my sort of, intellect and
Mm-hmm.
analytical ability. So you had to be very academic about things like writing these what's it called? And yeah, reports on your projects, and so I had to learn a lot
Yeah, it
about
kind
that
of
kind of stuff.
pushes you to the directions you pretty much will never touch by yourself because there were like no reason to. But
Yeah.
uh, if you could say what was like your main type of what was pushing you to like work harder on all of these things, it was like you just felt you have to, or there were some magic to it.
Um, I mean, I had worked. I mean, I had worked some shitty jobs before, and I hadn't. And before that, just before I started going in this direction, I hadn't worked for a long while, and I just knew I didn't want to get back there. So I sort of, I have 3 years now, and by the end of that, I sort of got to be ready to work professionally, and I had no idea what that meant,
Mm-hmm.
of course, because the industry is sort of a mystery once, like before you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yep.
yeah, I mean,
For many people, it
I
still
put a lot of
is.
pressure on myself.
So, and
Yeah,
for the things, because you pretty much can say you learned on your own, right?
I mean, of course I learned some in school, but I mean, I learned way more on my own, I'd
So,
say,
what were
for
like
sure.
your main sources for knowledge for everything? Like, what type of books or names or pretty much whatever?
Um, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty disappointing because I haven't done that many studies actually. I did a few in the beginning, because people told me you should be studying, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll try that. But I always thought it was so boring because people were like, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to study hands for 5 weeks and then you can draw a hand. And I was like, well, I'd rather just spend 5 weeks drawing shitty
Mm-hmm.
orcs. Um, so I pretty much just, and I had this idea like, okay, so people are telling me I should be studying, but what happens if I don't?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, because then I should be forming some kind of style on my own, I guess, because I'm not drawing from any reference. Um, so yeah, but okay, of course I did some in school, and the thing I think that helped me the most was life drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that really kicked me in the butt because that was really hard, I think. Um, so yeah, but
Yeah, for the things that you mentioned that you were not studying, I guess it's one of the things that I also observed that artists with like a really heavy style, like that you can pretty much distinguish their artwork like in a blink of an eye. Usually they
mhm.
say they were not doing a lot of studies. Like they kind of developed their own style and mastered it to the point where pretty much it just looks okay and pretty much everything looks fine because they were like redoing everything so many times. They pretty much mastered the way they are doing it. So it looks okay now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm very like observant. Like I observe a lot whenever I'm outside or stuff like that. I always look around much. Like I look at people's faces a lot, and I sort of try to figure things out.
Hmm.
So I've gotten in that habit as well. And sometimes my girlfriend thinks it's pretty annoying because I can be, all of a sudden just sitting there staring at someone because they have an interesting face. And she's like, stop it, for fuck's sake. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then you were like, "This is a really nice rock." Like recently, we were on a trip with my girlfriend and my and our friends, and they
Hmm.
were kind of annoyed by me because like I bought myself a camera and I was like, whoa, that's a cool rock, poof, a photo. Whoa, that's a cool tree, poof, a photo. And the trip that would take like a 1 hour took like 3 hours because I was like making this constant stops to, oh, that's a cool rock, poof, photo.
Yeah. I mean, that's artists, right? Like we always observe and try to figure things out,
Yeah,
and
it's kind of
uh,
funny that like I cannot pretty much imagine like not getting really interested by a rock. Like how you can think this rock is not interesting. Like it's a really nice
I
rock.
mean, rocks are awesome. I
That's what
agree.
I told them,
I,
but they were like, okay, come on.
well,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So it was kind of
Uh,
funny.
it's a it's a cool line of work like that because I think you really appreciate nature and stuff like that more because you really really look at the details.
Hmm.
Uh, so I really enjoyed for that reason.
Yeah, that's right. It's a this is the good part of being an artist. Like you can look at something in a different manner, you can analyze it in a different manner. But also for like self-learning, because like you said you were not studying a lot, so there were also
No.
like no certain books or something like this that you was reading or something like this.
Mm, I had one that I read for a course. I didn't buy any of the course
Hmm.
books in university. It's a terrible student. But there was one, oh, what the fuck is it called? It's like a Disney animation book. It was written by one of their life drawing teachers.
Animator Survival Kit or something like this.
Uh, Drawn to Life.
Ah,
Drawn to
okay.
Life, it
Uh-huh.
was called. So I really enjoyed that one, but that was mostly because of, his little comments on things and philosophies and things like that. I really enjoyed that. I've always been, I mean, I'm inspired by so many things. Like anyone who's good at something really inspires me. I love watching, what's it called, the Netflix show, Chef's Table.
Hmm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
These Michelin chefs, and they're so skilled and they're so passionate. And I just love that.
Yeah, looking someone
That is
cooking
so
is like
inspiring.
really interesting. I usually all these master chefs on YouTube and everything. I'm like, okay, now I'm watching master chefs, and later in the kitchen I'm
Yeah.
like, look at me, I'm master chef, and boom, something does not work. So
Yeah, but it's cool. Just people so hyped on
mhm.
creating something unique. That really inspires me.
So like pretty much you can with clean heart you can say like vast majority of things you have learned by yourself, and you really are a self-taught artist, because really often I hear like I'm a self-taught artist from even the people I was like learning with in a school or something like this. They really like this badge of being a self-taught artist.
Mhm.
And what do you think about like do you think it's hard to admit that you were learning from someone?
I mean, of course, no, definitely not. Of course, I was learning a lot from. I learned a lot from watching how others solve their problems. So I've been looking at a lot of art, more that maybe. And I watched. I mean, of course, there was a time I watched some, Feng Shui design
Hmm.
school videos just to sort of because there's always this. It can be really hard to understand like how are they even doing
Hmm.
this at all, so I've watched some videos now and then just to really get into that, and I of course sometimes I look at my hand like what's going on, how does it look in this pose, um and stuff like that. But most of the time, honestly, I'm just drawing and really trying to figure out, and I've learned a lot from live drawing classes, that I can definitely say.
Hmm. Yeah, I often hear this, but it's sometimes for some folks it's really hard to get like a good live drawing classes because, for example, in Gdańsk there are not that many. I guess maybe
Mm,
like apart from the school that I am teaching at, there are some like live model drawings and everything, but the live really like the live classes, it's really rare. at least in my city, or at least I have no idea where to find them. But it also can
No,
be a case how it is in Sweden.
no, but I mean, since I was in a university city at that time, it helped. And we had a fantastic teacher who had worked at DreamWorks and Disney, um, and she was just amazing, so inspiring, so much energy. And I mean, if I would have had a different teacher, I probably wouldn't have been so interested. But she really like made it interesting, and she gave us all
Mm.
and it's so much energy. Because it's hard. It's like I went home every day with the greatest headache
Oh
because
yeah,
there's so
that's right.
much information.
A lot of
Um,
folks when they are
yeah,
starting, they think like, oh, drawing is easy, cool, and fine and everything. But then after you are really like learning how to draw and everything, you pretty much are like you are exhausted, completely exhausted.
every day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I still get. I mean, I managed to burn myself out. I've done that a few
mhm.
times. So I mean, it's still a lot for the brain to handle sometimes, especially when you're trying to be a good boy and work a lot. You
Yeah,
know.
and if you are trying to also use some weird perspective and everything, then the brain goes off pretty much all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's so hard. So important to take breaks and like learn how to relax.
Yeah, and how is the life for the artist in Sweden like? Is it like just a job like all the other jobs, or how are they treated?
Mm, I mean, God. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you work at a studio, I think it's really good. I've worked mostly towards America with companies like
Hmm.
Paizo, stuff like that, smaller tabletop RPG companies, and I mean they're used to paying a lot less than I would need to make a good living here. So it's been quite poor actually for me the past few years. But that's also part of me being a terrible businessman. But that's something I'm starting to learn
Hmm.
now. To sort of look out for myself more and not be such a, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah, I
worker.
understand. Also, the cost of living in Sweden are like huge, I guess.
It's high. It's high. And we have a lot of taxes. So I pay like 50% taxes, for example, in
Jesus
total
Christ.
when I have my own. Yeah. So it's hard, man. You really gotta charge a lot of money or, be insanely fast
Hmm.
or something. I don't know. I haven't figured out the correct formula for it yet, but all I know is that I want to paint and I love painting, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
And also
struggling with
you
it
you like
until I.
eating and sleeping in a house and everything. So you need to combine
Yeah, yeah,
those likes.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of fun. Also, this is one of the always of the things that I always tell to pretty much everybody. Like living in Poland, like the biggest advantage for living in Poland is like, for example, compared to Sweden, living in Poland is cheap. Like it's really cheap,
yeah.
and like people from Poland also say the taxes are high, but and I also say it because like who likes taxes to be honest, but
Yeah.
in here it's like 20%, maybe something like this, 23. In my case it's 20,
Mm.
so it's not like a terrible tax, but if I will see a tax going up to 50%, I guess I will just go and cry, and I don't know what I will do if I will see tax this big.
I mean, yeah, yeah. 20% sounds pretty
Yeah,
nice.
and in those 50% you have like a healthcare and everything, right? Okay,
Yeah.
because in here like you
I
have a
mean,
tax
yeah.
and then you have a healthcare. So the not nice part is if you are not earning a lot, you will still have to pay the same healthcare as someone who is like earning 10 figures or something like this, I guess. As far as
All
I
right.
understand it correctly, but I guess it's like a fixed price for
God.
a universal healthcare. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm terrible with all of that. It's like the business side of things. So,
yeah, to be honest, it's
I'm just
hard.
sort of.
It's like that's why there are accountants and pretty much the whole studies like just for this type of things, because it's hard to understand,
Mm.
especially since like vast majority of artists are not really great with numbers and tables and Excel and everything.
No.
So I can understand
No.
why artists are kind of
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah, I have an accountant who used to be an artist.
Oh.
So yeah, that's really nice actually. He really like gets my
Uh-huh.
situation, and he's not charging me as much as he probably should.
He
So he's
knows the
very
struggle.
nice, and I'm just yeah, he's very nice.
Nice.
Actually.
Yeah, that's great. And changing a topic a bit and coming back to all the things that you were learning, what were
Hmm.
like your top artists that you were learning from?
Definitely Paul Bonner, which I think a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
has noticed. I'm very still to this day inspired by him. To me, he's still my favorite, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like just something about his work, all the like the attention to detail, and you
He
know,
has this really specific
just
style to him also. Like you can easily say something was done by him. Like pretty much it's a no-brainer to guess. But I guess it's the same for Adrian Smith or Karl Kopinski. I guess it's really
yeah,
easy to like distinguish them. But still they were like
yeah,
in the market for so long, it's even hard to not know them, to be honest. So
yeah,
yeah. And other than that,
yeah.
are
And
there any others?
I mean, I love James Gurney as well. I find him so because like when you look at his
Mm-hmm.
eyes, he's got that
Yeah.
childlike, yeah, he loves this so much, and that's always what I'm looking for. Like whenever you see someone who's just so inspired
Mm-hmm.
by it, that really gets me, and I love his stuff.
He was also a great teacher.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely super good. And then I love I don't know if you've heard of him, but Alvaro Tapia. It's another
Maybe
Swedish.
I heard something about Alvaro Tapia.
It's insane.
No, never heard about him, but I saw him once on Behance. I remember the dragon,
Mm,
because there is some sort of a
yeah,
dragon in here. Wow, that's cool. I'm saving him. Okay.
he made all the Harry
Yeah,
Potter covers
I
as well.
wanted to say the dragon that I'm seeing. I guess I saw it in Harry Potter.
Yeah, and those
Ah,
covers are just insane.
nice. Yeah, I could say you get inspired by him. You have a really similar color palettes and color schemes to the artworks.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So it's like a mix between him and Paul Bonner. Those are
Hmm.
definitely my like biggest inspirations. Because I used to play, or I still do sometimes. I play this Swedish tabletop RPG. It's called Drakar och Demoner, and
Called how?
yeah, Drakar och Demoner. It translates to dragons and demons,
Aha.
basically.
So like a
And
Swedish
those
Dungeons and Dragons?
ish,
Ah,
but
okay.
it's I mean it's totally different
Ah, okay.
setting, but it was and those two guys made like the artworks
Uh-huh.
pretty much. Tapia just like made a lot of the interior illustrations, and Bonner made all the covers pretty much. And I mean that was
Mm.
God, yeah,
Yeah, also
take
you
over
got
my
a
brain.
comment that from Emmanuel Pound that he used to study with you and he thinks your progress is really impressive. So,
Wait, who was it?
Emmanuel Palm.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
Monad. All right,
he commented
yeah,
it here. And also I need
thanks.
to like say a postdraw to a friend of mine, because like I promised it to him like for past 3 streams and I kept forgetting. So yeah, it's for Kuba Wilczek. So yeah, okay, deed is done. So if not for the artist, for the music, like what is your type of music? What are your genres, or however to say it? Some bands.
I listen to everything. Let's see. I love like things that really gets me in the mood. If anything, is like have you heard of
Oh
Vardruna?
yeah. Oh,
Or
I was listening to
yeah,
it
I
so
love
much.
that. Vardruna. What are those other? guys called. Um, God, I don't remember. But a lot of Viking inspired stuff I like. I used to be a metalhead, so I still enjoy Slipknot
Hmm.
and Korn actually. But I don't listen to them that often, but I still enjoy the
Mm.
music actually.
Yeah, but try to like say you enjoy Slipknot if you are a metalhead. That's a bad thing. They will eat you alive usually. Yeah,
Nowadays,
like if you are a metalhead and
really.
you say you like Slipknot, there's oh no, you cannot listen to Slipknot. It's a music for kids. It's edgy teenagers, masks.
Oh, I mean, I thought it was really cool with
Yeah,
the
I also
masks.
like them,
I thought,
so
yeah,
it's kind of funny. So
man,
mostly like the
cool.
ambience and this type of stuff, just to get in the mood.
Seriously, everything. I listen to everything
Huh. Hmm.
nowadays. Like I used to be like, oh, everything except metal sucks.
Uh-huh.
I hated everyone. No, but then I started realizing that yeah, there's probably at least one good song within every
Hmm.
band. So yeah, I'm very open to like I started listening to Typo Negative just like two
Well, I
years ago, and
started like two
man,
weeks ago.
oh
Yeah.
really? Do you enjoy them?
Uh, I knew them for like a really long time, and I know some of the
Hmm.
songs, and I tried to like start to listening to them, and I was like, wow, that's weird music, but I like the top five Spotify songs of them, so I was not digging too deep into them, but yeah, they are kind of interesting.
Yeah, I really
Mm,
enjoyed them. And have you heard of Modest Mouse? That's like an
no,
indie
I
band from America.
guess Modest Mouse. I guess maybe once I heard the name.
They make they make weird music, and I like that.
No, I don't know. But I saw a video with them at least once. I recognized the shirt with the flowers.
Yeah,
So,
they are pretty funky, but
mhm,
they're really good. That's one of my favorite bands for sure.
nice.
Uh,
And for the movies, what are like your top three or something like this?
I mean, Lord of the
Uh
Rings.
huh.
It's definitely one of them. I love fantasy. Whenever there's a good
Uh huh.
fantasy thing going on, God, movies. I have,
I guess Lord of the
where I have
Rings
watched
1,
a
2,
lot.
and 3, and you got three
Yeah,
movies.
that's a good one. But what's that one called with Matthew McConaughey when he's in space?
Interstellar?
Yes, God,
Oh,
I
nice.
love that
Yeah,
one.
it's
That was
nice.
really
It
good.
was one of the movies that got me like I was like, okay, I'm watching a movie about space, and after finishing the movie, I was like, whoa, I came here to watch a movie, not to feel.
Yeah, yeah, that one is
Hmm.
heavy, and I don't know. It's really, really
Also, it's
interesting.
really nice.
It's
It's
super,
really nicely done, to be honest. And I really enjoy also a
yeah,
long movie, so it really like gives the vibe for a long movie because it's like 2 or 3 hours, something like this. So yeah.
yeah. You get very
Mm.
immersed in
Yeah,
it.
also with Lord of the Rings, like I remember once when I tried to like, okay, I will be watching every single thing from Lord of the Rings. It was, I guess, before Hobbit or maybe just the first part of Hobbit came out. So I got
Mhm.
this extended edition cut, director's cut or something like this. And I remember when the third part was like finishing, I had no idea how I should lay in bed or if I should sit, stand, or do whatever because I like was laying for a 16th hour or something watching a movie and I forgot how to like move properly because I was just watching it motionlessly. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
God,
fun.
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah. Those are really,
Mm.
really impressive. I think. And oh yeah, have you seen Captain Fantastic
Oh, I guess I have not. Captain Fantastic.
with
Fantastic.
Viggo Mortensen? Yeah, Aragorn
Oh
guy.
no, 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 no. I
Um,
have not seen it, but I guess I will today, later.
yeah, you should.
It looks like it's for
It's
me. It's
really
hard to even imagine Viggo Mortensen in like different role than Aragorn. Like In my
Yeah.
brain, he is like glued to the Aragorn role so hard. I cannot imagine him like being someone else in the movies. But yeah.
No, it's actually it was hard for me too. I just knew that I wanted more of him
Hmm.
because I just loved his I loved him playing that role. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean he's a cool guy. He seems like a really cool
Yeah,
guy.
I heard there was like a rumor or plot or something like this. I have no idea if it's true, but when they were recording The Hobbit, they asked him to play Aragorn in The Hobbit. And he came to the interview and everything, and he asked them if they read the books, and they were like, "Yeah, we did." And have you found Aragorn in the Hobbit books? And they were like, "No." So why am I here, or something along these lines? But if it's true, then I guess we can say
I thought,
it's nice.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, he seems pretty, hardcore. Like he picks his movies because people sort of, he sort of disappeared after Lord of the Rings,
Mm.
and people asked him why, and he was like, "Well, how much money do you really need?" So now he sort of just picks the movies he wants to make, and
Yeah,
I
it's
think
also
that's
I guess one of
cool.
the dreams for every single artist, just to be able to like refuse every single offer and just pick the one that you will like, and just work on stuff that you really enjoy. So
Yeah,
mhm.
definitely. But yeah, I think it's cool when people just walk their own way like that.
Yeah, it's
It's
also
really
one of the
inspiring.
things that I really like in the current times, that the artists have like so many possibilities like to actually earn money through all this Patronite, crowdfunding, and everything. So a lot of
Mm,
artists can really like focus on doing their thing instead of like working for someone else. And there's a demand for it because like people just like this type of stuff, watching this type of stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
mhm.
definitely. I think it's an interesting age we live
Mhm.
in for sure. Like there's so many options
Yeah,
and
the
there's just so many people doing their thing, and it's awesome.
for the all the posters and everything, the prints, pretty much every single thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess even for the goblin you are painting like right now, I guess if you will like finish it fully and say, okay, there is a print, someone will buy it. So it's a
Maybe
cool
I
thing.
haven't tried selling that many prints actually, but I
I
probably should.
guess it's a shame because like you have a really distinctive style, and I guess it will sell really well since it's yeah,
You think?
since it's like not it's not a typical goblin. Like I have a hard time imagining someone else drawing a goblin this way, that for or pretty much anything this way. So I guess for the prints you will do well. Like you will do extremely well, I think. So I guess
Hmm.
you should consider it.
Yeah, yeah. People have told me, and my friends have been on me about getting a Patreon,
Oh yeah,
for
I was
example,
also
which I
thinking
haven't.
about it, but I have no idea what to post in there. Like at the moment, I just want to grow this YouTube type of thingy up, maybe. So I will see
Mm,
how it will later go. But Patronite for
I-
like artists who are like really working in the industry, I guess it's a great thing.
it
Mm.
could be. It could just would just be nice to have that sort of passive income as well. Where you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to
That's
work for
right.
every dollar, pretty
That's
much.
right. And also Sweden will be happy to tax like the 50% out of the prints and everything. So
Fucking bastard.
you will make Sweden happy.
Yeah, yeah. They will be super happy. God.
Nice. Okay, so uh, after the movies, for the books, I guess also fantasy, right? Or with the books also whatever is nice.
I think the only book series I've read is Harry Potter. Actually,
Oh, uh huh.
I don't read much because I'm. That's one thing I'm actually gonna
Uh
start
huh.
doing though. But I haven't really felt like I've had the time. I've just been so very, very focused on painting
That's
and
right. Especially like if you are a
drawing.
freelancer, like you don't probably even like commute this much through like a bus or tram or something
Yeah.
like this. So
I commute from my bed to my computer.
yeah, and it's hard to like read a book during this time. So I have this comfort
Yeah.
of like traveling to the job, so I have always like this 20 to 40 minutes per day, no, not per day, just per week to just read because I cannot do anything else like while traveling. So it's nice. But if you are looking for a good books, there is this series that is called Malazan Book of the Fallen. A friend of mine told me about this book, and in my opinion, if they will ever make an epic movie, like to the scale of Lord of the Rings, it will be based on the Malazan Book of the Fallen or on the Black Company from Glenn Cook. Malazan book is by Steven Erikson, and it's like 12,000 pages, something like this. So it's like extremely massive,
Wow.
but it's extremely epic. So I guess later I will drop the titles because the books are like top notch. They are like the best books out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, please do actually. I'll head down to the library, see if they have them, because I really want to get into. I've been like the past, year or two. I've been looking for ways to sort of wind down, not just work all the time, because I used to work all these 12, 14 hour days pretty much, and it's not good for you. So
it's also
trying
hard to
find
work that
ways.
long. Like it's really hard. Sometimes I wish I had like the power in me to work for 14 hours a day. Usually I am like maybe 6 or 8 usually, but on the other hand, I want to jump into a train into working for like 14 hours a day, so we can make a switch.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean that's definitely. I've realized that now that it's too much for me. Anyway, I don't want to work that much because I just feel like whenever I get into the habit of working, like 5 effective hours a day, my work is just so much better.
Yeah, because like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th hour is like you are just slowing down, so it's pretty much better to go to sleep and just wake up after this 5 hours. So it will make more sense. Yeah, but sometimes
definitely, or just go watch a movie, do something else. I've picked up fishing again, so I'm out fishing, or I'm trying to be out more in nature.
I was going to ask about the fishing because I saw these small wooden fishes.
My
I guess.
lures.
Yeah, lures, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, started making lures because that was also a thing for my brain to relax a bit. Sort of find something else I can, be really excited about. And it's so hard. It's so hard to balance them. Making the lures, getting them balanced correctly, making them have that kind of action you want. It's really hard. Really, really hard. But it's been fun.
You have photos of your lures on your Facebook, right?
I do,
so if
yeah.
anyone is interested in the lures, just go to Henrik's Facebook and you can see how they look like. So it's also one of the funnest things for the artists because like, I need to take a break from drawing goblins, so I will start sculpting goblins. It's pretty much the same thing, just different medium.
Yeah, well, I've always been drawing goblins.
Yeah, goblins are fun.
And trolls.
They're really relaxing because it's hard to like draw them wrong. Like you can justify a lot of mistakes and you can just play with them. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can look any way you want, which is that's what I love about creatures in general. You could just do whatever.
That's right. This is also one of the reasons I have been avoiding painting humans for like so long, because like try messing the one muscle or proportion and no, the art police will get you.
No. Yeah, it's a bit like that, but at the same time, I kind of like I've come to the conclusion that I kind of like when things are a bit wonky and out of place, and look at my human characters; they look a bit fucked up, but I think they have some character to
that they are humans. That's right.
Yeah, and I think people are okay with that most of the time,
yeah.
Unless there is an art police, of course.
Oh, this muscle on the face is wrong; it will never work. For me it was like I really like to learn, like to know the proper things that are happening. So for I have no idea how many years I'm stuck in the circle of I need to learn anatomy, and when learning anatomy, I'm like, what this muscle was called? Like I don't even know how to pronounce it. So how I can learn how to draw it or something like this. But
Well,
recently I just decided
yeah.
to like loosen up a bit with it and just approach it with a little bit more joy, and it pretty much started clicking with me in my brain after so many years. So
Right. Yeah. I mean that part is I think really important to just have fun with it.
hmm
Like it doesn't matter if it's 100% correct because like if you make a mistake and you see that like when you're done with the piece, you're like, okay, this is not working. Then you fix that in your next piece. Sort of just keep going, have that forward momentum. That is at least how I go about it. Like I look at my pieces like the
hmm
piece I made. I'm always seeing some mistake, and I'm trying to learn from that
hmm
and change it up to the next one I'm making instead of going
yeah,
back and
that's right.
changing, perfecting. Because then you can sort of spend so much time and wearing yourself out on.
We got like a really random off-topic comment, but a cool rifty trick is to place your palms on your ears and drum your fingers onto the back of your skull. Do it for a couple seconds or longer and you will hear more clearly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
I will try to save it in my brain. But
Yeah.
coming back to loosening up a bit and like enjoying drawing, I guess I was talking about it with Konstantinos. Like the better you are, the easier it is to have fun and to loosen up with everything. Because I remember at the beginning, I was so stressing about everything being perfect, and if something was not like really coming together, I was like angry at me so that it's not working as I intended to. So I guess also you really need to learn how to enjoy drawing and painting. Like it's a whole another story to do.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I think it's way harder in the beginning as well because, I mean, once you get to a point like even my even on my the worst day I have, I'm still gonna create something that looks pretty good.
That
Um,
yeah,
s-
that's right.
so you chill out more the more you
hmm
go. That's for sure, definitely, and it's really nice,
Yeah,
actually.
because like if you
The
know how to draw something, like in my example, because like for vast majority of my time and teaching and everything, I am doing all the primitives and the perspective type of things and everything. So like in my case, for most of the times, it's like a complete no-brainer. But sometimes when I, for
mm,
example, just want to sketch a portrait or a human figure, then I really have to like think a little bit more about it. And I
mm,
guess it's just because I just have no experience with, like, not enough experience with it. So also this is one of the
yeah.
reasons that I have been avoiding Inktober for I have no idea how many years at the moment. But I was like always, yeah, this year I will like work every day on my Inktober and everything, and then I see the topic and then I'm like, fuck, I have no idea how to draw it. So okay, maybe next year
Yeah.
I will have the skills to do it. And this year was exactly the same. Like the day before the Inktober started, I was like, okay, this year I will make every single drawing and I will like make all 31 of them. And the Inktober started. I did the first one. I looked at it. I kinda decided it looks like shit and said, okay, next year. Then, so
Yeah.
I guess I have a benchmark for me. I have a year to learn how to do Inktober.
Yeah. I mean, it can be very hard as well if you're very used to digital,
Oh, that's right.
and going to
The undo
traditional.
is
I
terrifying.
it's yeah, it is. But I started because I wanted to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
paint traditionally. You know, I was like, what if the whole world gets EMP'd someday and then I can't draw or paint? No, but
Mm-hmm.
so I sort of wanted to learn how to do that with just a brush and some colors and that has been helping me a lot with the digital painting
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
right.
Like you
Mm-hmm.
get more, and
Same for
yeah,
the
but
drawing.
it's
I
a lot
guess
of
you will pretty much have zero problems with drawing this goblin with pencils. Like it's pretty much the same thing.
oh yeah, Yeah, it is definitely. And I mean, I also made like an active choice whenever I started paint, or like not when I started, but the recent years when I'm painting digitally. I'm, you know, I'm painting as if I would be painting
Mm-hmm.
traditionally. So I can go back and forth between the two, and it's not really a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's kind of
Yeah, I
nice,
always tell
actually.
this to my students. Like the skills from the traditional will always translate to the digital. Like no matter what, it will always translate from the digital to traditional. Maybe not that much. It will be a harder transition, but if you like are a great painter traditionally, I guess you will be like a great painter like in digital in pretty much no time.
Yeah,
So yeah, there is
yeah,
even this
yeah.
guy. He's called Andr Tschler, I guess, on YouTube, and he's mostly painting in traditional medias, but he's making like this huge canvases, like 5 per 3 meters or something like this, gigantic
Holy
landscapes.
shit.
It's like a really great channel because one he has like a lot of knowledge to him, like he knows what he's doing, and sometimes he
Mhm.
is showing how he is making a sketch in Photoshop just to give himself the idea how he wants to paint something, and then his sketch is pretty much one of the best live studies of some environments that I have ever seen, because his understanding of light and color is so great that pretty
Yeah.
much he's one of the best digital painters I know, and he's not even a digital painter. So
No, I mean, I think it just,
mhm.
translates. It doesn't. I mean, you're an artist no matter what,
Yeah, that's
really.
right.
Because yeah, I mean, because you're gonna have the what's it called? The
Hmm.
knowledge anyway, the theory
Yeah, if
behind
I
it.
will
So
give
it's just a matter of learning the
yeah, if
tools,
I will give
really.
you like a burn stick and a white wall, I guess you will manage to draw something. It won't be like handicapping you too much. So
No, definitely,
that's right.
definitely, and it's I always find it very like it really tickles my brain whenever I get a new medium in
Mm-hmm.
front of me because I'm sort of, whoa, how should I solve this? Because it's so new, so I don't really know a process. I'm not stuck to any process or
Mm-hmm.
method yet. And that is usually very inspiring to me, actually. So I try to change things up a bit as well. Attack it from different angles and stuff like that. Um, I'm always I'm always changing up my process when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to digital as well. I'm changing small things all
It's
the
good to
time.
experiment, because with every experiment you will like learn something new, and then you will pretty much make all the progress that you should make. So
Yeah,
mhm.
experimenting is a great way. Just you know, quick little things. Just to get comfortable painting or whatever. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's super great to do stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
We could
Also,
just
I'm kind of interested, like for example, if I will for example forget everything that I know about art, how I will approach it, like at the moment, what will change, and how fast, for example, or how
mm,
slow I will make my progress. So
mm, that would be
mhm.
interesting to see, actually. I wonder if I mean I guess like if you're older, you're probably gonna approach it way differently
Mhm.
than when you started.
Yeah, because when I started, I was like with the digital. It was, I guess, exactly 10 years ago when I got like my first tablet, and I
Mm,
remember like vast majority of the paintings I have ever done. And I, for the more important paintings for me, I remember what I was struggling with. And when I'm looking like at the struggles at the moment, I would like be, wow, like how, what was your problem, like it's just so it's a no-brainer to like come up with the solution for it. So
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean it's art. It's like the more you learn, the more you realize how little you know.
that's terrifying.
It's just
That's right.
yeah, it opens new doors all the time. But I actually find a certain amount of comfort in it as well
Mm-hmm.
because I know I like the idea of mastering something, and so I know I'm going to be doing this for a long
Yeah,
time.
and pretty much there
You know.
is always something you can learn. So it's like a never-ending hobby, to
Yeah.
be honest. Because, for example, you will master digital painting or something like this, or
Mm,
you will master any other medium, but then someone will come to you and say, "Oh, have you heard about those new paints or this new markers or this new something?" And turns out you
yeah.
have a nice new thing to learn, and this thing will probably supplement your already existing skills. So,
Yeah. Exactly. And find a good use for it, and I'm gonna start looking into actually some 3D soon, just to mess around with, to help with the
mhm.
scenes and stuff
So
like
for
that,
me, it's like
which is be
coming
fun.
off the 3D at the moment and just starting more painting and everything because I want to get rid of the 3D as much as possible
Mm.
at the moment.
But why do you want that? Didn't you enjoy
I
that?
do enjoy it, but I kind of feel it became a necessity for me. So I
Mm,
feel it expands my possibilities, but it kind of limits my actual skills. Like, I want to know I am able to do all of this type of things without 3D, and if I will
yeah.
be able to do it, then I will come back to 3D. I'm still using it and I will still be using it, but I'm focusing much more on, yeah, basically on the fundamentals, I would say, at the moment. So with the
Yeah.
anatomy, like, do you know the guy on the YouTube Modern Day James?
No. No.
He is like a guy who has like a really solid understanding of perspective, geometry, and pretty much everything. Kinda like you will. Do you know a book How to Draw by Scott Robertson? Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
he like knows this book inside and out, and he can draw all the basic stuff. And in theory, I also can because I've been teaching all of this stuff for like I have no idea how many years. But
Mm,
since I was only teaching the basics of it, and for not really often I was using the most, like the more complex techniques and everything, I was like, okay, I
mm.
thought I knew it, but I have no idea how to apply it. So I needed to take a step back to like revisit all of the basic stuff, then go to the more complex stuff, and then I guess I will come back to the 3D with a little bit more power to it. So
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that.
mm-hmm.
I had that with I used to work with a lot of gradient maps, color
Mm-hmm.
layers, multiply
Yeah, that's right.
layers, things like that. But I figured after a while that I really didn't understand how to paint. I just sort of knew how to fuck around with
Yeah,
things until it looked pretty
till it looks
pretty all
okay.
right.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yes, so now I'm just been using normal
Mm-hmm.
layers to sort of understand,
Yeah, also
and free
painting
myself, I guess.
just like starting from the colors without any overlays and everything gives also this nice traditional look, I would say, because all this overlay and everything can introduce this digital type of look to the work. It's like really easy to
Definitely.
spot when someone was using color dodge or something like this. It's like obviously clear. But when someone is
Yeah.
painting just straight from the color, you can easily say they can do it. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that, the traditional look of things. Because, I just feel it has more, to me at least, life in it. Like it feels more alive because you get these random, natural blends between
Mm-hmm.
colors, and I don't know, it just looks
Yeah, it's
awesome.
also one of the things that was kind of annoying me. Like it was maybe a half a year ago or something like this, because I was like, I remember back then I was like watching your works and I was like, fuck, it looks so cool. It's like all the traditional medias and everything. Like everything is drawn and painted and stuff. And I was like, okay, I will try doing this type of thing like traditionally. And I started doing something and I was like, okay, maybe it looks like 10% similar. And later I saw it and I was like, wait, this is not traditional. This is all done in Photoshop. How he made it look traditional? And I was like, fuck, I'm cheated. Like, I feel
Yeah.
betrayed now.
Yeah, I know a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've posted works, uh, because I've been doing, the traditional
Mm-hmm.
paintings
Yeah.
recently, and I posted those, and people are like, "Nah, I don't believe you. This is digital." So now no one
Yeah,
believes me.
and also one of the things that really made me think this is traditional are the white spots you are like leaving between the brush strokes. I have no idea
Yeah.
why, but my brain kinda like thinks if you have these white spots, it has to be traditional. Like I don't know why. Like it associates this type of style with traditional medias. But to be honest, to
Yeah.
distinguish like your gouache, how to pronounce it?
Yeah,
Gouache, yeah,
gouache.
with the your gouache to like distinguish it from the digital, I will have a hard time. It's especially
Yeah.
from like a slight distance. I think it will be pretty much impossible for me to distinguish.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mix it up a bit. I have this acrylic ink as well that I use.
The what?
So it's acrylic.
Ah, okay, huh?
Yeah, acrylic ink. So I use like an acrylic ink base, and then I paint with gouache on top. Sometimes I even use pro markers. So I'm still messing
I'm
around with
afraid
it.
of pro
Like,
markers.
yeah, me too. I hate them, but it's okay just as a
Mm-hmm.
base, Like if you're just gonna, I'm just using it to create some. I don't even know how to
Like a
explain it,
basic
but I
underdrawing
basically
or
try
something
to.
like this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to layer colors.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's basically my method. So you see here, I made this base, and then I start painting on top of it
Yeah.
with pretty thin layers, so it will create more
Mm-hmm.
depth. Like there's something going on beneath the skin type of look. So that's basically
Mm-hmm.
what I'm after when I'm painting.
Yeah, and for me with the pro markers, it was always the same problem. One, they are like extremely expensive in Poland. Like for one pro marker, you will pay like 10 to 15 zloty or something like this, and pretty much you can get a dinner in this price without any problems. And this thing like pretty much vanishes. Like you take a paper, you will draw 5 strokes with it, and it's empty. And you are like, why? Like, what's the point of using it? It is like
Yeah,
pretty much disappearing.
yeah. You sort of got to have these. There are these special papers
Hmm.
that are made for
They're
that.
really like smooth,
So
and they are not like draining the ink from the pro marker.
exactly, they won't drain the ink out of
Yeah,
it.
I
So
also back in the days bought myself this type of paper, and when I bought this paper, I was like, wow, this paper is so nice and expensive. I'm now afraid drawing on top of it, so it sits in my drawer, and
yeah,
sometimes I use it like for few drawings, but in every other situation, I'm like, no, don't touch it. It's like my special paper. Wait,
yeah.
I will okay make it bigger. Nice,
There's a goblin
nice,
and a little skeleton type deal.
nice. Of course, it was done
You know,
digitally and printed. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. It's really like it's a good way to relax
Hmm.
actually. To just sit down with a brush and
The,
you
I
know
can imagine this.
sort of
The great thing also
yeah.
in traditional medias that I really like over the digital medias, after like finishing something, you have this in your hand, like you physically have this. In digital, you don't really have this feeling of completing something. Like in traditional medias, you can pretty much say, okay, I cannot add more details because physically I can't. In digital, you can always like make a zoom, make a zoom, make a zoom, and start adding every single
Yeah.
like small hair to it. So I agree that in this case the traditional medias have like a huge advantage on top of the digital type of stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, like you said, it's unique. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't you're just holding the one. There's,
Yeah, if
there
you make
is.
a digital, you can like print 20 of them and they are all the same. But for the paintings,
Yeah.
for me it's always like also I wanted to always learn how to paint like with the actual paints, and I have no idea how many
Mm.
times I bought some brushes and everything, started doing something, but I was always like, no, it's so hard. Like, I don't think I have, like, I know it's a valid thinking, but I always thought like I don't have time for it because I want to focus on digital, because like pretty much no one will hire me at the moment for doing traditional stuff without any type of skills. But I always wanted to learn how to paint traditionally, And I guess I have no idea when, but one day I will do it. Like one day I will try to learn it.
Yeah, you definitely should, man. It's I mean, if anything, just do it for yourself. Like whenever if you're just gonna have a day of
Hmm.
chilling out, you might as well just pick that up because I promise you, you're gonna learn so
Yeah,
much
that's
from
right.
doing that.
No, I know, but once again, I will have to go and buy new brushes because the old one that I bought, they are already messed up and they are not working as they intended. And the
Uh,
hassle of like what is really putting me off in the traditional medias, especially from the paints, like I really like them, is all the mess that they are creating and all the like quotes unnecessary things that you have to do before you start painting. So I
yeah.
really get used to the like comfort of digital. You just open up, there is no like brushes, no water, no everything, pretty much nothing that can like
No,
be
it's
dirty.
very
It's like
it's very
yeah,
convenient
yeah.
like that.
Hmm.
You sort of just start going. That's why I started digital as well in art school because it was so expensive to buy oil
That's
paints
right.
and stuff like
Like pro
that.
markers are expensive, but oil paints are expensive actually. Like
Very, very expensive. So I,
hmm.
yeah, I totally get that. Um, but I don't know, gouache, it's not that expensive and you don't use that
Yeah,
much
it's funny because in
for
Poland they have no
painting.
idea what it is. I remember back in the days, like 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the art shop and I wanted to buy some gouache. And I guess in
Hmm.
Polish language is even called gouache, like it's pretty much exactly the same. And the lady in the shop was
Hmm.
like, "What is that?" Like they never heard about this type of paints in here, so it was like really weird for me. And acrylics and oils and watercolors were like the only three types of paints that you could buy in here. I have no idea how about now, but for a long time
That's
they
weird.
never heard about gouache in here.
I mean, gouache is, I mean, it's watercolor, but it's a bit more pigments in it, I think. It's a bit thicker.
Hmm.
So you can sort of, you can blend it out with water, but you can also paint like really thick
Yeah, but
if you want to just cover
as
an
I'm reading
area.
right now, it's not a watercolor, but because it's like fully opaque and not
Mm,
transparent as
yeah.
as in watercolors. So maybe
Mm,
this was the difference, to be honest. But yeah, it was weird. Also, if anyone has any
that's,
questions on the stream, just feel free to ask them because there are some people like watching. So maybe someone has a question or
yeah,
something like this.
please, please,
Yeah.
please go on. I'd be happy to demonstrate something or whatever you guys want. Just be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be fun. Yeah, also, what I really like and don't like in traditional medias is the lack of the undo. Like, if you do something, like, okay, live with it. Like, this is your mistake at the moment. Just embrace it. And I
Yeah,
find it's
but
really good if you want to learn, but it can be really crippling if you like it's really crippling in my opinion in digital medias if you're learning something because you can pretty much undo everything and you can redo everything, so you cannot see and
yeah,
save your mistake pretty much. Hmm.
yeah, but okay, so like one thing about that is that I've learned so much about is to sort of roll with your mistakes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking for, like, when I'm painting, at least I'm not looking for perfect. I sort of just keep going.
Hmm.
If I do something that looks a bit strange, I can always paint that over, and when I paint that over, something cool usually
Hmm.
happens that I hadn't um expected. Like, I'm not much of a control freak
Hmm.
when I paint. I just sort of let it happen and roll with it, and that's definitely something I've learned from painting traditionally. It's been really valuable.
Okay, there's a question. I guess it will appear in
Yeah.
every single stream. Where do you look for inspiration, guys? So I guess the answer will be pretty much exactly the same as in the previous streams, uh, but I will let you answer it. So maybe you will add
Right.
something to it.
I mean, I I don't. Yeah, that's the thing again. Like whenever I'm gonna, paint something or draw something, I usually don't look at references too much, because I'm always collecting things whenever I'm out walking or whenever I'm fishing or when I'm looking at things in nature or just at home. So I'm sort of collecting them and storing them somewhere. So whenever I get going, I sort of just do like big loose strokes, a lot of shapes, crazy shit going on, and then I see something because I've been getting pretty good at seeing the opportunities in shapes. Like, what could I make from this?
Hmm.
Um, so that's sort of how I go about it. Other than that, nature. I looks at so many nature documentaries, and I'm really big fan of animals, so I pick up a lot from that. Definitely.
Hmm. But the pretty much long
What about
story
you?
short is like pretty much everything can inspire if you like approach it
Yeah.
in a manner that you want to be inspired with something. In my case, it was like always pretty much I will watch something and I will get inspired to it, and maybe I will want to make something with it. Previous like
Mm.
guests said like music can inspire, pictures can inspire, nature can inspire. I guess it's hard to answer this question because like I guess the maybe not the better question, but the easier to answer question was how to motivate yourself. So for you, the motivation was like in 3 years you have to get good. That was pretty much the motivation, right?
Yeah.
So I guess. Mhm.
Like, yeah, like find my way of doing this because I knew I had to sort of make my own path. Because I wasn't interested in I've always I've always loved underdog things. Like if I'm gaming something and people are like, that's a really bad way, like that's a bad weapon, then I'm
Mhm.
gonna play with that weapon.
Yeah,
Shit like that. So when people told me, yeah, you should be studying, man, I'm like, fuck you, I'm not gonna study.
I will be
So it's
playing all
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of stupid and it's kind of painful as well because you sort of have to always find your own
Mm.
way. But I don't know. I like it. I find it inspiring in itself
Mm.
somehow.
Yeah, it's also
It's,
fun.
it's stupid.
Like for example, how it is pretty much exactly the same with cooking, with all the master chefs and everything. So yeah, if you are following the recipe, like okay, you will make a dish, but try just going freelance, like no freelance, just try to go crazy on the recipe, and just add as you feel. So then you will have a dish done by yourself. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's pretty
exactly.
much the same
That's the
thing.
type. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
And for the games, because I usually ask this question, what do you play games?
Mm, Usually competitive things. So I have I used to play a lot of Dota
Hmm.
too. I think I have like 4,006 hours
Nice.
on record. I used to play. I think I have 1,100 hours in Counter Strike or
Hmm.
something. And nowadays I play a bit of Hunt Showdown,
I
if you know
bought
what
it
that
two
is.
days ago. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, we should play
yeah.
then. We should play. It's
I
awesome.
sucks at it, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I think I have like 600 hours in that, so I can
I'm
show
like
you something.
4 or 5 or something like this. So yeah, actually
Yeah,
yesterday I
yeah,
was
but it.
playing and I pretty much did a really good play because by accident I ran into a trap set by my teammate and it killed me, but it also alarmed him because it was like a random teammate, and
Oh,
because it alarmed him in a place where I guess he thought there are no other players, he got like really cautious and he found like 3 different players sneaking on top of him and he just killed all of them. So I was like, yeah, I made a suicide and it was a good suicide. I was a useful teammate. So yeah.
yeah, but it's a really hard game actually. But I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I actually my
It's
best
cool.
game that I enjoyed most was when I loaded the server and it was like completely empty and I was like, yeah, that finally I can do something in this game. So I will get a trophy.
Yeah, it's a really like steep learning curve. I remember that first time I got on. I thought it was a single player game first because I didn't
Hmm.
see anyone. And I was just like running around minding my own business. Then I just got shot in the head, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
okay,
it's
so
not a
that's
single
how it's gonna
player.
be.
Yeah, I
That-
guess like
yeah, but
yesterday
it,
or 2 days ago, I had a game when I was like, okay, another empty server. I was running like happily, and now I'm dead. And I was like, oh, it's not an empty server after all. But yeah, a friend of mine told me about this game, and we were like playing together, and he was like, oh, I will carry you, I will carry you. And he was so bad at this game. I was like, oh, okay, it's your fault we lost. And I know he knows how to play this game, but he had like a extremely bad luck when we were playing together, so I could make some jokes of him.
you sort of jinxed him, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess I was the bad luck guy. So
No, but it's cool, and it's a very cool like thematic. I think
yeah,
like that
I
19th century
mhm.
Louisiana
I'm
type deal.
absolutely not about like westerns, and like I'm completely not interested in this like time period of America. It was like the furthest away from my like things that I like, but I was surprised. I really enjoyed the how the game looks, like all the shotguns and all
Yeah,
this like revolvers and everything. It is really
yeah.
cool, I guess.
Such beautiful
Hmm.
weapons. They're pieces of art in themselves. It's so
Yeah,
cool.
also for the Red Dead Redemption, I was like never this type of guy,
Oh,
but I was only watching this game. I thought I won't at the moment like buy it because I want to like earn something. I want to like work actually because I know if I will buy this game, I will pretty much disappear from the living world and I will just dive deep into it. So
that's what I did.
yeah, and
I
I
like
cannot afford doing this right now, so I'm not like tempting myself.
No, it's probably a good idea because that game that is really
Hmm.
addictive. Uh, in the beginning
Yeah,
anyway.
so a friend of
So
mine just wrote he's still waiting to finish our Heroes free map that we started like 4 months
oh,
ago.
Heroes 3, that's the best fucking
Yeah,
game ever.
that's right.
That's one.
What
I played that one as
what
well.
castle?
That's so good.
Like what city?
I like a lot of different ones. I probably play Castle the
Uh,
most
uh,
though. I think they're just solid, you
mm,
know. I like archers.
no, I was like a typical metalhead, so Necropolis for me.
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
awesome as well.
skeletons.
Really. Yeah, they're so.
Mm,
I like that you picked them just because you were a
yeah,
metalhead. That's awesome.
and there is this one meme that I really like when someone was explaining, "Oh, I'm playing castle, so I really need to take care of my like resources and everything. I need to schedule every unit properly. I need to do this." Then you have like this fortress when, oh, this is a magical type of city where units are really expensive. I really need to take care about this and that. And then there is stronghold, and it's like, fuck yeah, behemoths.
Yeah,
It's pretty much.
yeah, those are. I mean, they were so cheap too in comparison to the
Mm.
other level 7 units. I've tried played that a couple times where we sort of rushed them week one.
Yeah, and that
But
if you
it's
have like an S map, then it's okay. You have behemoths, but
yeah, yeah, you're pretty much unbeatable in the beginning.
mm, and later you will understand that it's actually heroes of might and magic, and the magic pretty much
Yeah.
can really mess you up if someone knows what he is
Yep.
doing. Oh yeah, but for other
Yeah, yeah.
games, what other games were you playing?
Actually, I've been playing some World of Warcraft vanilla,
Hmm.
the classic that they released. Because I mean that's that's where it began. And it's very inspiring. I've always been very inspired by
Hmm.
Blizzard products, so I love that game actually. But I don't enjoy the more recent
Hmm.
Blizzard games
Yeah,
that
that's
much.
right.
But
For me, Blizzard was one of the reasons I started doing pretty much anything with art. But at the moment, like I'm kinda nah. Maybe Diablo 4 will change it, but I I
we'll
have
see.
I have a feeling this game will be solid, but I don't have high hopes to be honest. But we'll see.
So you were playing a lot of Diablo 2
Yeah,
as well.
like I kinda wanted pretty much every single guest that I will have in here to draw something from Diablo, but I guess it will be impossible at some point. But
Oh, you should have told me. I would totally have done that
okay,
because
so as
yeah,
I said,
I mean that's my.
as I said previously, I guess it's not the first time and not the yeah, it is the first time you are here, and but definitely not the last time you are here. So the next time you will draw
Yeah.
something from Diablo, I guess.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love that. Like Diablo 2 definitely was. That was my first gaming crush. I played that so
For
in.
me, exactly the same story, but not on Battle.net, on single player. I never was like in this case a Battle.net type of guy.
Oh, I played the
Mm,
BattleNet so much,
yeah, and
man.
with the Dota, I
That's a
remember
cool
I
game.
had like a short period of trying to play Dota because I was like playing a lot of League of Legends, but I kinda felt it's not maybe not mature enough, but it has this something that I don't really like, this silliness to it that was kind of putting me off. And I thought, okay, maybe I will go to the big boys game and try Dota 2. And after playing like 10 matches, I was like, okay, I have no idea how to speak Russian, and I am definitely not skilled enough to play this game. So I went back to the
No,
League of Legends.
it's a very steep learning curve in
Mm-hmm.
Dota. It's I think I'd say you probably need to spend at least 50 hours before you even understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I played Dota 1, then I played probably around 3,000 games in Heroes of New Earth, which was like a
I was
copy
playing
of Dota
Heroes of
1.
Never for maybe 30 games or something like this.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then I started playing Dota 2 and 4,600 hours, etc. So, yeah, I've played a lot of
Mm.
MOBAs.
And
I
have you
really
been
like that
playing the
genre.
original maps on Warcraft 3?
You mean
Mm-hmm.
Dota 1
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea. Dota 1 is like a map in Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
mod,
Mm.
pretty much. So yeah, I started there.
I remember I wanted
Um,
to start there, but actually, like, staying in the queue was impossible. Like, you join the queue and they will throw you out. So I was like, okay, no Dota for me in Warcraft. It's impossible to stay in the queue.
yeah, and people left the games all the
Mm-hmm.
time, and there was no penalty, obviously.
Yeah, that's right.
It was kind of annoying to play it back then, but
Mm.
it's more fun now. But I haven't played in a good
Mm-hmm.
while. I get so hooked, I
And
to
who
play
was
so
your main
much.
in Dota?
Ooh. Actually, recently my main has been definitely Tree and Protector and Techies. Actually, the if you know who
I
those
have no
are.
idea. You
They're
can
very
say it's
cool.
strength, agility, or intelligence. So I will have easier time searching for it.
Oh, Treant is a strength hero
Okay.
and support,
Oh, Treant.
and Tech
Okay, I
is
have it. It's a
int.
tree. Okay.
Yep, very
Okay.
cool. And then Tech is int intelligence. And
I
yeah,
will find him. Wait. Tinker? No.
that's
Yes. No.
no, nope. Tech is squeeze, plea, and spoon. Three goblins, obviously.
Uh,
Obviously, I have to play the goblins.
hmm.
So
I don't see them in here.
well, I
Or maybe I am
wonder.
just. I'm probably just
It can be hard
blind.
to spot. Maybe
Uh,
either one of them.
okay, I don't see them. What was the third one?
I don't think I said a third one. Ogre Magi,
Okay, I
still
found
one of
them.
my favorite.
Trint, yeah. Well, I don't see the goblins. I have no idea if why. Maybe they are like
And I
something. I don't know.
never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
They're but they're cool. They're goblins, and
Yeah,
yeah,
goblins are
of
funny.
course I have to play the goblin.
Hmm. Maybe you will one day work for Dota. Maybe you will make like your own champ. It will be kinda cool.
That would be so sick, man. I would be so stoked to get to do something like
Then
that.
you could like justify those 4,000 hours like without no problems at all. Like
Yeah,
someone.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think because I sometimes, of course, your parents are a bit concerned when you're gaming too
Uh-huh.
much, and
Oh, I found them.
especially
Okay.
with me since I fucked up school so
Mm-hmm.
much, you know. But I mean, all of those hours gaming and spending
Mm-hmm.
time
That's
immersed,
right.
it's really helped now.
Like a lot of people, a lot of folks, especially like Feng Zhu talks about it like really often in his videos that if you are like a student and you are learning, you shouldn't be playing too much games and everything. I guess he has a point in there because like you really need to find this golden balance between gaming and doing art and everything if you want to get good at it. But I
Yeah,
guess I will never like say I won't game no more because I'm an artist or something like this. Like the gaming is pretty much the really important part for me of all of this type of stuff, and I guess I will never give up gaming. Also, I will never say it was a wasted time. I have like a lot of hours spent in the games, but I never would say it was a time wasted. It was time invested.
no, I mean, yeah, definitely, and it's relaxing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fun, and I don't know. I just I don't think anything is a
Yeah,
waste of time.
especially if like you are getting better as an artist, you also will have like a way better work ethic. So you know when you actually can play and relax, and when you can't. Like if you are like a
Yeah,
beginner, it's way easier to get lost in the games because like you will get way more achievements, if we so to speak, in the game than actually if you are
yeah,
learning. So
definitely. Yeah, I noticed that with a lot of people because I got into university when I was a bit
mhm.
older, like 24 or 25, something like that. And a lot of the guys who came in when they were like 18 or
Mhm.
19, they definitely had a harder time, you know,
Yeah,
because
I
they weren't
guess, and because like how old are you right now? Because I have
32,
okay.
32.
I was like guessing somewhere between 22 to 30 or something like this. I was not sure where to put the pin. Yeah, because like I can even say it just looking at myself, because I'm 26 now, that
Yeah.
I really increased my work ethic in like the last year or so, something like this. Before that, I wouldn't say I had like a work ethic, or I would say at the moment it's way better developed than it used to be. So yeah.
Yeah. It helps getting older
Hmm.
and
In
just
this case, right? Like one of the huge
yeah.
advantages that I had, because when I was studying, I was already using Photoshop and all the other programs for like really many years, so I was like really proficient in them. So, for
Hmm.
example, at the Academy of Fine Arts when I was studying, it was really giving me like a easier time because everything I that was that we were tasked to do, I could do like for example in an hour when someone else was like spending 10 hours with all of
Oh
this type
shit.
of stuff with all the presentation boards and everything. So it kind of gave me like a time to game, actually to play some games.
Yeah.
But now when I'm actually trying to live as an artist and I see how fast some folks are and how fast they are working, I am like, okay, this is now my time to actually learn how to be that fast and to not
Yeah.
game that much. So
Yeah, I think as long as you get like a few hours in
hmm, yeah,
every
that's
day,
right.
though, because you sort of got to do
Hmm.
it a, quite a bit, obviously. Um, but yeah, I definitely think the people need to make time for just fun stuff,
Hmm.
like whatever your fun is for
Yeah,
you.
because often like a lot of like teachers say like, oh, you need to spend like for example the 16-hour a day, you only need to make this one thing. And once again I kinda agree, but really often teachers like forget about this mental type of game that is going on when you are learning, and
Yeah.
it's really important like to sleep well and all of the other stuff. Like okay, I can work, for example, I guess I would be able to work for like 14 hours a day, but I know like my sleep schedule will be really fucked, and I really enjoy, for example, just going to the gym or something like this. And I don't think it will be
Yeah.
worth working, as you said, like for the 14 hours per day if I will feel I am not enjoying myself as much as I
Uh,
could.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's just as productive to,
Mm-hmm.
work out, hang out with friends, just make time for
Mm-hmm.
all the, because after all, you're gonna have to sort of make a sustainable life,
Yeah,
not
that's
just
right.
grind
Yeah, I
away.
guess I prefer having a slower progress, but like keeping everything together in my mind instead of like getting as fast as possible to the top, but pretty much like losing
Mm,
my mind over it.
exactly,
So
exactly. I did the opposite, and I wouldn't recommend
mm,
it.
yeah,
Definitely
I mean
not.
like the skills
Uh,
that you have say the opposite. Like pretty much everybody should do something like this, but yeah, I guess I also had to, for example, came to conclusion that I want to work harder, but now I kind of also know how to work harder and how to enjoy it more. So I actually can, for example, like rest and enjoy myself while, for example, doing some studies and everything. So, and I remember
that's
I
great.
was not able to enjoy studying, like for example, 3 or 5 years ago or something like this. I felt like it was like
Uh,
um, uh, I had to do it instead of I wanted to do it. And now
yeah,
I kind of changed a little bit more about my thinking, and it's way more enjoyable this way.
yeah, yeah. That's always the mental
Mm-hmm.
mental sort of game
Mm-hmm.
going on. Yeah, but that's
It's
great.
also one of the things that
That's
a lot
great.
of people don't really talk about, especially in all these art schools. That, to be honest, it's a really hard job. Once it's really competitive because a lot of folks are doing it, and
And they're so fucking
that's right.
good.
And
It's
it's really
insane.
not as stable as some people would like it to be. Like one day you might have some commissions, and for the next month you might have like zero commissions. So
Mm,
the better you are, the less it
yeah,
happens, I guess. But especially when you are like
I
starting,
guess.
it might be hard sometimes to find a job and to justify living
Yeah.
this way.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna go at it like I did full
Mm-hmm.
time, from the get-go, it's very hard when you don't have a name for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, I remember in the beginning, uh, I started, go out and fish a couple of hours a day so I could get food because I was not earning a lot of money. I was obviously nothing in danger. I've always had very supportive
Mm-hmm.
parents,
No, that's great.
and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, it's been great. It's a very supportive fiance. She studied, she was studying, so we got some money from that, and so I've been very fortunate like that. But I had this, sort of feeling that I wanted to contribute. So I started fishing a couple of hours a day just to put food on the table.
Like literally
And
food on the table.
yeah, yeah, and I
Nice.
never caught anything. So that was kind of,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was out because I was used to fishing lakes, and I was living on an
Mm-hmm.
island at that point. So I learned fishing in the ocean. I spent 4 hours a day, and I never caught anything.
Nice.
I was very motivated.
I guess this is a really unique origin story. So.
It was so weird. I was just like walking on this rocky shore,
Mm-hmm.
like looking for spots, throwing out, bait and shit, and just hoping that I could bring something home. but it, but I was just being so dramatic about
Uh-huh.
it. Like it wasn't really that bad. We were getting by, but I just sort of I have to put food on the table.
Yeah, but if you like really go deep with this type of thinking, you are like, okay, I'm on a mission right now.
yeah,
Oh, nice. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
funny.
But it was kind of fun. I love that as well.
To be honest, it really sounds
And
fun. Like,
yeah, it was very fun to explore the island, and the coastline,
mm-hmm.
and try to be like,
Yeah,
I just felt so, I don't know, it was inspiring in a way, but
and
not very realistic
in my
maybe, because
Hmm.
most of the fish there didn't want to eat anyway.
Yeah. And what was like your biggest catch?
It was God, I don't even know how to
Like, I don't know, compared to the forearm
explain
or
it.
something like this.
No, oh God, maybe it weighed 1.2 kilo,
Ah, okay.
1.5, something like that. It was a carp
Uh-huh.
fish type of fish live there, and there's so many of them.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I tried everything, and then one day I decided to try fishing with corn,
Hmm.
you know, and they apparently like
I
corn
kind
quite a
of
bit.
hoped like you would
So,
say like a spear or something like this.
oh no,
Uh-huh.
no, 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 that no, I later because I was trying to catch perch because that's a
Hmm.
nice fish. That's a fish you want to eat, but they wouldn't bite on anything. So, but then eventually I met some old men at dock, and they told me that yeah, you gotta get a net, and then you gotta catch all these. There's these really small sand
Hmm.
shrimps that live there along the rocks, so you gotta catch those. That's what the perch like. So eventually I learned that, and yeah, I caught some perch eventually.
Nice.
But yeah, but that was a journey to learn how to fish there. It was kind of
Yeah, in my
kind of
case,
exciting.
like fishing is completely out of my league because I was always like, oh, poor fish, I will hurt a fish, like I will hurt an animal. I know they say the fish don't really feel the hook, but I always
Hmm.
was like, no, I cannot fish. Like, well, for me, it was like always a no-no. In my case, I never felt
Ah, I
like
get
the
that.
urge. I went fishing for like sometimes maybe like 5 to 10 in my life. I went fishing, but I never caught anything, and I never felt
Yeah.
like a need to catch a fish. Like,
No, I mean it's more about just being
yeah, the
out in nature
sitting,
for me,
yeah,
I
and
think.
enjoying. Like, I really enjoy, for example, going fishing with my friends and just actually sitting there and just enjoying myself, just sitting sipping some beer or something like this, and just watching them pretty much fishing nothing, because I went with them like twice or 3 times, and the biggest fish was like maybe a little bit shorter than a hand or something like this. So
Yeah.
they are not really efficient in fishing, but yeah,
No, but it's hard,
yeah, I
It's
guess
hard
so.
to trick them.
I guess it is.
I mean I watched a lot of fishing shows as well,
Mhm.
competitions and tried to learn. So I really enjoy that.
Mhm.
But my like my family on my father's side, they were always fishermen. Like they fled from Estonia to Sweden during the Second World War. So all they had was fishing
Ah.
to actually put food on the table. So I mean, I always loved that whenever
Mhm.
we were visiting them in the summer. So I think it's stuck with me. But I know what you mean about hurting an animal. Like sometimes you're just like, yeah,
Mhm.
that wasn't a good catch. Like sometimes you catch
Mhm.
them, and everything goes smoothly. You put them back in the water, and it's
Yeah,
just
and
cool.
also I
But
never really
sometimes,
like the taste of the fish. Like, there's like maybe 2 or 3 fishes that I could say like I like, but other than that, I don't
mm,
really enjoy the smell, the texture, the way they taste. Like, I never liked fishes, so maybe that was a part of
no,
the reason I never also enjoyed fishing them. But yeah.
yeah, no, I feel you. It can be, especially if you catch a fish and you leave them for too long
Hmm.
before you eat them.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
Like, if you forget a fruit, like recently I bought like this weird fruit type of thingy from a shop, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna taste it, and it was called like chamaya, chikaya, something like this, like a really weird fruit.
Mm.
I had no idea what it is. I saw it for the first time, and I made the rocky mistake, and I put it on the counter, and I was like, okay, tomorrow I will eat it. And today I tried to pick it up, and it was actually,
It
yeah,
just
it
fell
just fell
apart.
apart. It smelled like alcohol. It was like really, because I still tried to taste it at least to see how it tastes. And if it will be like really ripe and fresh, then I guess it will be a really nice fruit. But in this case, it got mold on it. It fell apart, and it tasted kind of weird. But But yeah, I guess I will give it another try if they still have it in the shop. So
Man, that's disgusting. Yeah, I'm bad with shit like that too. I always buy like vegetables or something, and then I just sort of forget them in the back of
yeah,
the refrigerator.
then you have the undead vegetables like crawling out of the fridge.
That would be actually very
Mm.
awesome, but no, usually just
Everyone
sit.
at least once in their life had this like one carrot or apple like to revive the stream. Um, okay, I will see if it is alive. Yeah, something broke with the web.
I thought it was me first, so don't
Yeah,
worry.
I also thought because like you said about the internet and later I saw nothing is working. So
It's been working surprisingly well on
that's
my
right.
end.
Yeah, that's okay. Pokój a good thing is I guess the YouTube is still having a transmission as live, so cool. Okay, everything should be working.
Oh, so it's still gonna be just one video once
Yeah,
it's done.
it will just have like a blind, yeah, an empty spot for like
Mm.
this few minutes. I don't know, something just broke, and as I said previously, every single stream has some problems. So this time it was disconnecting of the web.
Shit
Yeah,
happens.
I guess the next thing will be the electricity going down. So I'm looking forward to this thing.
Getting
Yeah.
bombarded by
So
Russia or something.
where we ended because I I got kinda
I,
distracted.
I, yeah, I don't remember
Uh,
actually.
okay.
No clue.
Okay. Well, if anybody is watching and remembers what we were talking about, also hey Lars, Leonhard said hi Henry, great
Oh,
stream.
hey,
Yeah.
man. How are you?
So some friends are coming at the moment, so I guess
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
nice. And what is nice, the 9 or 10 people that were looking at the stream did not go away when the stream broke. So
That is really nice,
yeah,
actually.
really loyal watchers, I guess.
It-
But we were talking about some fishes and everything, and not hurting fishes,
yeah.
and, and something like this.
Very art related.
Yeah, okay, so I guess we will switch a theme to something different. Is there anything, for example, you would like to tell to anyone who is like watching the stream or something like this? Is there this something that you would like to tell,
Like an advice
or a
or
story
something.
or whatever?
Or is a
Pretty much,
story.
yeah.
I mean, I think I would just like to say what I always say. Have fun. I mean, seriously, there's just so much, like if you paint things that you think are fun and not that you're like supposed to be painting to fit in, you're gonna have so much more fun and you're gonna have so much more energy to do that and get better, you know. So I think that's like my biggest advice to anyone. Just have some fucking fun. It's not doesn't have to be serious all the time. Of course, study the fundamentals, learn how shit works on a basic level, but yeah, just do stuff you enjoy. And
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things people often forget, just to enjoy painting
yeah,
and everything.
I mean it's such a cool job. Seriously, it's a very, very interesting field, and you get to work on really cool stuff. Um, so I mean, just have fun with it and work hard, and remember to rest and
Yeah.
play video games.
In the end, they will pay you for painting monsters, so you can earn a living by painting monsters. So there's also a
Sometimes
question: which tablet do you use?
I just use what's it called Wacom Intuos 4 or something. Just some old. It's nothing special,
For me, it's
but I've
like
gotten
the
used to it.
Intuos, but the M size. You have L, M, or S?
M
So
medium.
pretty much the same.
Yeah. I mean, I think it works. Been thinking about a Cintiq now and
Mm.
then, but I've sort of grown accustomed to this, so I'm pretty,
I was
content.
using Cintiq for like a brief period of time, and it will really need some adjusting. Like my brain will really need to adjust to like actually see where I'm painting when I'm doing stuff digitally. Like I detached
Oh,
from,
really?
yeah, I was trying to like paint in Cintiq, and I was really uncomfortable like by my hand pretty much covering half of the screen.
Oh,
This was the problem for me, and I like to have like a really broad and huge uh, like workspace, and just this hand being like covering the half of the screen was like a really weird thing for me.
oh, yeah. I've heard others say that
Mm-hmm.
that exactly. That you sort of get annoyed by your hand being in the way in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning.
Yeah, I got
I can
got
tell.
really like accustomed to not seeing the hand in front of me. And for the story, I guess, what was like your craziest story, for example, some client or work, if you can tell about it?
Crazy clients,
Or
man.
had you ever had like a special commission that was like really weird or something like this?
I think I've been spared from so much shit, man. Seriously, I've heard so many crazy stories from others, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never, barely ever been tricked. Money
Mm-hmm.
wise. People always pay. People are all most of the time nice. I mean, there's been this one guy who was trying to like tell me how I should do my job, and
Mm-hmm.
this is usually how people do things, and so you should do that. And I'm like, fuck you,
Not like that.
man. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, it's been pretty cool most of the time. I mean, no, nothing
Mm-hmm.
crazy, really.
No,
Actually,
so,
it's been chill.
so it's great.
I think I think I'm pretty easy to work with and pretty nice, and people usually
Mm.
are nice back to me. So
Yeah, it's also one of
yeah,
the things that a lot of people forget. Like, just be nice, and the good stuff will happen pretty much. If you will be
yeah,
like
you
a dick
never.
or will be really like hard to talk to, I guess it will make your life way harder with all this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm,
respect. Pay respect. Respect what others are, because there's much people who are putting in so much hard work in this
mm-hmm,
industry.
that's right.
So just be respectful of that, and you just try to make good work for their products.
Yes, especially like this is not like the biggest industry in the world, so like pretty much like a lot of artists know each other, so if someone like is doing weird stuff, pretty much everybody will know really quickly. They're not
Yeah.
like millions of people doing this type of stuff.
No, no, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just be kind. Just be kind and chill or whatever. Just be easy to work with and easy to talk to and
Mm-hmm.
shit like that, and you're gonna have a good time,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And
And where you were starting, like changing the topic a bit because you talked about the Razer commission and everything. Other than that, what was the hardest for you when you were learning? What was like your main obstacle, like the main boss of learning how to paint?
oh man, I mean, colors was because I used to only draw with pencil. That
Mm-hmm.
was my thing at first. Um, and I mean, I didn't understand color at all. Like, what is this? What's going on? And I started trying to paint because I just, I looked at pieces that was so beautiful with all the colors and crazy shit going on. I was like, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
learn this. I just have to. And so I said, like I've done with everything else, I just sat down and I started painting, and my paintings in the beginning, they just looked like rainbows. I just used everything. It was way too saturated all the time. And it was just crazy. And then I think I had teacher and he talked about limiting your palette, and shit like that. And I was like, so that's the thing. You can actually limit yourself.
Yeah.
That was hard. I think humans has been. It's only been like the past, 1-2 years that I've actually sort of been able to draw an okay human.
Hmm.
Before that, I found them incredibly hard, and I still do. Because I think,
Yeah,
like you said, people just know, like whenever you're
yeah. Every
doing
single
something
mistake is
weird.
easy to spot it. Like
Yep.
same with the cars.
And, oh yeah, yeah. Speaking about struggles, like anything like that, cars. I'm not very good with structures. I've been starting to learn a bit now.
Hmm.
Like I posted some Goblin Tower the other day. Like I tried to learn a bit more about that. And in general, just environments I think is hard because I've been commissioned so much to just do, a single character on a background.
Hmm.
Um, I find it real hard with environments, but I try.
Yeah, but
You know.
often there is like this distinction. You are environment guy or you are a character type of guy, and it's really hard to be both. Like it's kind of like it's painting after all, but both
Yeah.
of these feels like need a lot of learning. Like you have pretty much to relearn a lot of things to get good at both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely. I mean, it's I find it gets easier as well, like to learn new things because
Yeah, the more you know, the
um
more dots you can like pretty much connect, like
yeah,
faster.
and you have sort of a way of doing things. Like this is how I want my because I'm not very like if I do a generic environment that doesn't feel like me, I'm not very happy
Hmm.
about that. Like I sort of always have to figure out how I want my environments to look. Um just like I know exactly how I want my goblins to look,
Yeah, I guess if you will make the whole painting environment without any character, it will be still easy to like to see it was done by you. But if we are talking about struggles, because I just reminded myself, could you show the folder with the old works?
Yes, of course. There is some really bad
Yeah.
shit in there. So this was from 2011. This is my first digital piece. You can it's still, it's the
Uh,
goblin-ish troll guy. It's forests,
mushrooms.
very beautiful. You can see I used a very, very small brush. You see up here, sort of like feel this in. It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Very, very ineffective. Let's see, what do we have more?
I guess this will
Oh
always be
yeah,
my favorite part.
this arm.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, yeah.
So
Oh
if
my
anyone
god.
is
I
like
think
wondering, it takes roughly 10 years to like get good at this type of stuff. It
yeah.
takes a lot of
Yeah, if
time.
you yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, here's an old goblin.
Could you paste it
when I
like
s-
to the Photoshop just to compare how they look
yeah.
like?
Yeah, sure. Oh, there.
So if anyone is wondering if it's possible to learn how to draw or how to paint, here's a living proof. It is possible.
Yeah, so this I think this is roughly 9 years in between.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. So yeah, picked up
You
a
can
few
do it.
things. This was somewhere in like the first year in university, I
Hmm.
think.
So you were like
I was like
24, 5?
some yeah, I don't know, like what 2012, 13 maybe.
Yeah,
I
so
learned
24 it will
some
be 8 years ago? 24? Something like this.
wait. Yeah,
Hmm.
something like that. I've started learning a bit, but yeah, it was hard to render. Like I didn't know how to tighten things up yet.
Hmm.
Like you see, I didn't know anything about
I
anything.
always
So
like in the old works like the tricks that the beginners do to hide they cannot draw something. So I will hide the
the
hand, I will
hands, the
hand the
foot.
feet, and the second hand is like wrapped with the thing, so you cannot see it pretty much. So yeah,
Yeah.
and after finishing,
Oh, here you can see my hands. Oh my god. And the muscles, they're just like
Yeah.
blobs just going
When you
crazy.
heard there are these things called muscles.
You're like, wait, there's actually something going on beneath the
Yeah.
skin. So it's not just
I
blobs.
really like the shoulders. The
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah, he's fucking ripped, man.
Nice.
Oh man, yeah. This is also very early, 2011 somewhere.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, kind of secrets night type guy. Doesn't want to show his face, so I didn't have to paint it, I
Yeah.
guess.
And he has
Great.
no second arm.
Oh,
Oh, it's the same guy.
look at this. Yeah, look at these
Hmm.
muscles. Just everything
But to be
going on
honest, this
here.
setup where you have to like paint a ripped like the armpit and the chest and all the muscles, the tricep that are connecting in there, it's a hard
Mhm.
place. I recently
It's
started to like
very
study
hard.
this place, this area in like details,
So much
and
going on.
just recently it clicked with me after like I don't know 2 years of trying to figure it out. So
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. And I mean, just painting is
hmm
hard with all the, getting the nice shadows and the
hmm
planes, like just the planes of the face. There's so
the
much going
technique
on.
itself is hard. And then you have all the
Yeah,
structure, the shadow, the geometry, the muscles, the everything, the skin,
yeah.
the movement. Yeah, that's right. It was also one of the reasons I started going to the gym. I just wanted to like build some muscles, so if I will actually
You can see.
know what hurts me, like where I have the soreness, I will know what the like shape of the muscle is. And for example, when I get
Mm,
my first like sore calves, I like immediately understood what is the shape of the calf. Like I could feel the
yeah,
shape beneath my skin.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Some awesome environment. Oh my God. Yeah,
nice. Yeah. So if anyone
yeah,
is interested, a lot of more of Henrik old works is on his Facebook, so you can go there and you can watch
yeah.
his works. So.
There's there's a folder where you can see all of this. This one I remember so clearly because when I got to this
Mm,
point, I really didn't understand how you would render something further. Like, how do you tighten
mm-hmm.
something beyond this? I really couldn't understand.
I remember my painting when I was like, okay, I finished every single pixel in here that I could. There's no more pixels for me to paint. So
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
these type of
exactly.
things.
So it's kind of just, it can just be hard to know, like, how do you finish something? Oh
Mm-hmm.
man. Yeah, this was just before I started university, I think. I was like, yeah, I figured out the hair or something, the
Mm-hmm.
strands. Super happy, I remember. But yeah, holy shit. A lot of yeah, this was also just before the university.
And in
This
here you
druid,
figured how to paint horns and wood.
yeah, as you can see, it's clearly.
There is the swirl going on, so it's a wood. It's easy as that.
Oh man, and just like not treating the hair as like one big mass, just like
Mm-hmm.
all these little strands. Oh
Yeah,
my God, yeah. That was it. That was it.
nice.
But
Every
yeah,
single human
man.
has all the individual hair, so I will paint every single hair individually.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, you learn
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Everyone does. But yeah, it's kind of motivating to look back sometimes, and you're like,
Especially
holy shit.
at like really old works, because like you can actually see you made a progress. It might not be much, but you made a progress. So
Yeah, it's very
mm-hmm.
motivating. Just I would also that I would recommend to anyone who's learning, just look back sometimes, see
Mm-hmm.
which because you're going to see a difference. That's just a fact.
There was this nice video
People,
done by the guy who invented Inktober, the finish not perfect. He pretty much nicely like summarized everything. Like finish not perfect, you are naturally going to get better if you work. So don't stress about it.
no,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Just have fun
Yeah.
and work hard, and
And save your older
yeah,
pieces because later you can show them on some streams and you can laugh at them.
Yeah. I think it's very inspiring to see,
Mm.
you know, when someone is looked
It's
back.
also one of the things that I really always loved about some like particular artists on their DeviantArt pages, when you can just scroll down to the bottom and pretty much see how they progressed with everything. Like, this is the thing that I don't really like in our station, in my opinion, that you always only see the nice works. You never see the old, like, shitty works, because no one is showing them there, because
Mhm.
like it shouldn't be in the portfolio. But yeah.
No, that's true actually. But I mean, it's more of a
Mm-hmm.
portfolio
No,
website
that's right.
anyway, and
DeviantArt was like
it's
more
more,
like a blog type of page where you could upload pretty
yeah, it
much
was more
everything.
chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you just hang out, like, because it feels like ArtStation is more of a, showcase your
Mm-hmm.
best work type of
That's
place.
right.
So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And also, if you can see, like, if you have like a favorite artist, because I can easily imagine you are someone's favorite artist, that if they can see you were in their point like once in your life, it also is really motivating. I remember when I was like really like a huge fan of David Raposa works, and on DeviantArt he had like his really early paintings, and I always really admired that, because I saw like, okay, he, as this one guy said on the previous stream, like, he used to be mortal, so it is possible.
Yeah, he used to
Mm-hmm.
suck, so I guess I can learn to. And that's definitely true. Like, everyone is really bad at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a matter of, working hard. And I mean, you also got to be very aware and critical of your own work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what can I do better? You can't just be happy
That's
about
right.
everything all the time. You,
It's always
you gotta.
it is also one of the best tips I have ever gotten, like, ever. I'm not sure who told me this tip. I remember only it was in, I guess, in Domin, when I was like still learning, and it
Mm,
went something along the lines of, if something does not look good for you, it probably won't look good for anybody. Like, it will suck for everybody. And if you are not happy with something, and if you can say something is a mistake, there probably is a mistake. So just try as much as possible to like make it look as good as possible. And also a tip, just make it look good, is also a really good tip, in my opinion. Like, it
yeah,
really captures the spirit of drawing and painting. Just make it look okay.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, like, push yourself as much
Mm-hmm.
as you can. And yeah, just examine, look at yourself from objectively, like, what can I do
That's right.
better, you know. So that, I think that's
It's
really
also one of the tips
important.
I often give to my students, that if you can, and if you know you have a problem with something, just write it down next to the problem, and you will be aware of the problem, and you will like know what you need to work on, so you will get better. Because instead of like escaping the problem, you will pretty much just tackle it down, and you will know how to improve. So it's like also a
Yeah,
quick, easy tutorial to improve quickly. Just write it down.
that's real good actually. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
agree, definitely.
No. So when you are painting something for yourself, as I can see, it usually
Hmm.
takes you along like 2 or 3 hours, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
something
Yeah.
like
Big.
that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, sometimes longer if I try to not be too stressed out whenever I do that. So I sort of, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I just take my time and
Yeah, that's
fiddle
right.
around a lot. So whenever sometimes it takes longer. I don't know. It depends a lot. If I'm trying something I haven't tried before, then yeah, it's bound to take a bit longer. But I mean, that's cool. I think sometimes it's good to take your time. I'm pretty quick whenever I work, though. Like, when I work, for when I paint
Mm-hmm.
characters on a white background, I can push one of those out in, like, six
Mm-hmm.
hours or something. So pretty much a work day. Um, so I'm pretty effective then. But when I'm not in a hurry, I
Mm-hmm.
just
And
chill.
for the characters, for example, because like you were working for Paizo and everything,
Yeah.
When you approach illustrating a character, and for example you have like
Yeah.
a really basic brief, just like a really basic informations, how do you approach designing the character, or you just go with the flow and make it look good, or do you like actually design
Mm,
things?
I mean, I always try to design everything because I think that's one of the like one of my strengths and one of the things I enjoy the most. Um, so I always try to push the design. I'm always trying to make something that looks interesting, but it also sometimes it also depends on how much I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
because sometimes you're not paid enough to actually take your
Yeah, to
time and
explore and
properly
everything.
design.
Yeah, that's right.
No. So sometimes I just go with it. But I think my process is usually that I like a piece isn't finished until it's finished. So I change things a lot as I go. You know, I can, for example, this character, like if I would be doing this, I'm like, no, I don't like the nose. Then I can do this, you know. And
I would cry.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, but I do shit like that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm always designing, but sometimes I need to throw down some colors to sort of see the direction more clearly.
So it's not like you go
So
to through A to through B through C all the way to Z. You just like kinda go back and forth with the things and see what works, what does not.
yeah, I mean, I try to get like a pretty good drawing, and it's usually the point of the drawing is to inspire me. Like it's like when I get a drawing, this one was like, I just continued because I felt like I had to throw some colors down. But I was drawing this one before when you and me talked, and this one feels very inspiring to me. Like this, I'm really keen on painting this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do a few drawings, and when I feel there is one that's like, holy shit, I want to paint this, then I start painting. So that's usually my process for it. And I
Yeah.
try to, you know, fuck around with proportions, you know, longer nose, a mouth that is protruding more, the mouth that is further back, shit like that. Bigger eyes, smaller
I have
eyes.
not even noticed how many similarities you with this new guy you have to that guy.
Yeah,
I mean like the eye, the way he is looking at the piercing he has on top of his nose.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It's definitely. Yeah, I keep coming back to some of those, like definitely, because that was one thing. Because I saw a lot of people draw goblins like this. You know, you have like a human
Yeah.
classic type deal, and then he just had a pointy nose,
Yeah.
and I was like, that just didn't feel right to me, at
It,
least. So I started, you know, I started messing around with head shapes like this to sort of see what can I.
I think
So,
the Magic the Gathering goblins were really close to the thing that you are talking about. Like they had the goblins with the actual character to them instead of like just small guys with huge noses and everything.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I messed around. I have messed around a lot in, you know, like this. What's it called, in profile, pretty much, to sort of find the type of goblins I want to be
This is a
doing.
fish. This was a shark, goblin shark.
Yeah, goblin shark. They are definitely
Yeah.
very inspiring. But yeah, then I found, you know, this high nose ridge that it looks pretty funky, but I like it, you know. So I've kept
Yeah, I
doing
remember,
those.
not remember, just I recognize at some point a lot of artists has this like few tricks or few like things, these few features they add to pretty much every single piece, and it's also kind of like their trademark type of thingy. So
Yeah. I mean, I think because I've noticed a lot of younger artists are very concerned about, you know, having a style,
yeah.
and I think style is, you know, style is born from when you've been drawing or painting long enough, and you sort of pick up a few of these trademarks, and you know, you start combining them because
That's
you
right.
like them so much.
Especially when
And
you are drawing like just by yourself and just trying like drawing to for the sake of drawing and improving, then you might add
yeah,
end up with like a really distinctive style, like yours, for example. So
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
case, I would say some people tell me like I have a distinctive rendering style, but I don't really see it. And but for the drawing, I always try to be like the king. Okay, it's reconnected successfully. The internet is acting up again. Fuck, I'm getting stressed. Yeah,
Nah, don't worry
so
about
for
it, man.
example, if someone will tell me like draw this in Henrik style, and there will
Hmm.
be a reason why they can't hire you or something like this, I think after like
Hmm.
some time maybe I will be able to make something close to your style. Of course, not
Hmm.
like in your style, but the inspiration will be quite clear. So
Mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's one of the strengths about doing a lot of studies, for example, because
mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of artists who are very, who studies a lot, and they are like when they need to use a reference, they're so good at doing that. I'm, I'm whenever I have to look at a picture and take take something from it into the piece, I'm really bad at that. And I'm really bad at drawing a character twice, for example.
Yeah, that's a pain. Like trying to draw the same face just from different angle. In my
Mhm.
opinion, it's impossible. Like I don't understand how someone can process it in their minds.
No, no, and in that way, like comic artists are
That's right.
so
Hmm.
inspiring. They're so impressive. Like
That's
holy
right.
shit, and, and from all those angles, and it just looks so
With
easy.
the different expression, with the different wounds on the face and everything. That's right.
Yeah, and the animators, holy
Hmm.
shit, man, it's making it move. So I tried to dabble in that like a few months ago, and I got bored so quickly trying to draw the same image so many times, because you have to draw all out the frames.
Hmm.
And
But
yeah,
this
I
is the
think that's so
whole
hard.
other spectrum of drawing being hard, like actually being hard. So yeah,
Yeah,
I guess comics
yeah, but it's
like making a comic is hard. Like this is like one of the pinnacles of the drawing skills in my opinion, because you like really need to nail down line weight, color, narration, composition. Pretty much every single thing needs to be perfect if you want to make it like
yeah,
a really good comic. For example, David Raposa in my opinion nailed it, like with the Stevie Liefman
yep.
and the Starvale project. Like it was a really good comics. But yeah,
He nails
yeah,
everything.
that's right. Like
He's so
he is
he's so
on whole
impressive.
other spectrum of guys.
Yeah, yeah, he's fucking
I
crazy.
guess he's one of the guys that could, for example, like paint for 2 hours a day, and he will still be way better than a lot of people who are like painting for like 20 hours a day. I usually
Yeah.
I say there is a predisposition instead of talent, so someone is a little bit more predisposed to do something, but in this case,
Mhm.
it's a hard work combined with like a pure talent. Like he has a talent, and no one can tell me he has not. Like he worked his ass off, but in my opinion, he has a talent to it. Added.
I think that's definitely. I mean, there's definitely a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have some, I don't know what it is even, but there is something going
Some
on.
people just will be better at some things, and that's all. Just the fact that you get inspired, for example, by looking at the rock, and someone will just really feel good counting something strange in math or in
Yeah.
physics or something like this.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it has to do with how we, you know, what we're surrounded with when we grow up or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, but yeah, I mean, I was always best at drawing in
Mm-hmm.
class, pretty much, definitely. But I don't know why. I
Probably
don't know
also
what
you were like the most interested in it, so.
probably,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I wasn't very interested in drawing shares like you always got to do when you were
Mm-hmm.
young in art
Yeah.
class. Draw this share. You're like, oh, fuck me.
Right. Yeah, I guess soon we can wrap up the stream because it's quite long at the moment.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I gotta eat
yeah,
something. Holy shit.
it's almost 3 hours, so it's longer than the
Holy
previous
shit.
stream. So I guess if every stream will be like a 15 minutes longer from the previous one. Soon it will be around 10 hours. So
Yeah, like in 2 years, like a stream is going to be for 3 days
yeah,
straight.
and I will only get like the top most, like there will be no good artists, like only resilient artists. So you cannot paint, but you can sit in
All
front
right,
of the PC for like 20 hours. Yeah, you are in.
you're
Yeah.
in. You're
After
awesome.
20
You're
hours, you will know
hardcore.
how to paint. We will teach you. You will get every single information needed. Okay, so I guess
Yeah.
we will end the stream here. So if anyone has any questions for Henrik, you can ask them in the comments down below if when the video processes. Sorry for the problems with my internet and sorry that it disconnected once or twice, but I guess every single stream will have a problem. This was the one for this stream. And also thanks Henrik for coming by, for stepping by and for talking and painting and everything and showing part of pretty much you to the audience.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was great and I hope you enjoyed
my
it.
pleasure.
And yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I guess I will just press the end scene and thanks for watching and remember to subscribe and remember to like watch every single thing Henrik is uploading on his ArtStation. All the links are in the description. So yeah, that's all and goodbye.
Goodbye.